watch people's reactions, because they will, more times than not, kind of, I don't know, they give you that kind of like, oh, I'm impressed glare, that, whoa, you do know what you're talking about. Hola a todos, yo soy Samuel, y para los que no me conocen, estoy aprendiendo español, and today we're going to talk about speaking Spanish, and how to sound a bit more native. So, aunque he aprendido español por los últimos 5 años, todavía es obvio que soy extranjero, que no soy hispanohablante nativo, but over the last couple of years, I have done a few things to bring my Spanish a little bit closer to that native feel, and I'd like to share 3 things that you can implement right now that'll give your Spanish that native accent shine. And it is worth mentioning, just because, you know, Spanish is super different country to country, region to region even. We're going to be focusing on a general Latin American Spanish, a very neutral Spanish, for that native shine that we're looking for. And 3 things that we're going to touch on today are going to be common greetings, filler words, and the accent itself. All right, number 1, common greetings. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Is like the saltine cracker of greetings. There is a laundry list in the Spanish language that you could choose to say. And of course you're going to be understood if you say, hola, ¿cómo estás? Everybody's going to know what you're saying. But if you want to sound a little bit more native, I might hit them with a ¿qué tal? It's kind of like what's up. Maybe a ¿cómo te va? Or a good one if you're just kind of passing by, the verbal sup nod, if you will. The verbal, you can just say buenas. Kind of abbreviated from buenas tardes or something, you know, just buenas, buenas. And then when you're done with the conversation and it's time to proceed, you could say adios. Everybody says adios. And just like the greetings, of course, nobody's going to misunderstand what you're saying. But to give you that Latin flair, you could say cuídate, ciao, I like ciao, or nos vemos. Bonus points when you stitch them together. Okay, cuídate, nos vemos, ciao. Number 2, filler words. These are the equivalent of like, okay, right, You know, like, huh? So instead of, okay, right, you've actually got a few options. As you're following along in the conversation, when you want to let somebody know that you're following along, you could say, claro, listo, está bien. All of those work. That's just kind of something that you can drop as they're talking to you to let them know you're picking up what they're putting down. And then the Spanish equivalent of, you know, like would be o sea, or como. And so those are used when you're kind of rambling on a little bit and there's multiple sentences and you're talking, but for just a second you forget. So you're like just instead of like, or, you know, you throw in a o sea, or como. To be fair, this next filler word is pretty Mexico specific, but you're going to still be understood all over the place. But it's a very native Mexican thing to say. Instead of saying, huh, in Spanish, say mande. Mande. That's kind of like an appropriate way to say, huh, but it's only used by native speakers. Seriously, when you start using mande, you know, kind of say, like, what? Huh? Watch people's reactions, because they will, more times than not, kind of, I don't know, they give you that kind of like, oh, I'm impressed glare, that, whoa, you do know what you're talking about. And the 3rd thing you can implement right now to sound a bit more native is your accent itself. I have a couple pointers that you can take home today. The big one, obviously, is the rolled R, that fortunately, I know how to do it. Unfortunately, I don't even know where to begin with teaching it. But there's another R concept that I can cover real quick that's known as the flipped R. So the flipped R is when the R in Spanish, it kind of takes on almost like a soft D sound. It's like the word pero. You can be saying, I went to the store, but I forgot the list. I went to the store, pero I forgot the list. Actually, pedo means fart, so maybe that's not the best example. We're going to say to repair, reparar. Reparar. I don't know if you can hear that all right. Reparar. But the R, it's a bit more percussive, and it kind of comes off as a D. Not quite deparad. 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 Reparar. Is this coming through all right? All I'm saying is once you kind of notice it, it's hard to unnotice it. But next time you're listening to a native Spanish speaker and they're talking, listen for the R. It sounds a bit more like it's soft D, and it's a bit percussive. Reparar. And then another little tweak that can make a big difference with your accent is cutting off the word just before it ends. I'm not saying go full Bad Bunny mode, go full Puerto Rican mode where they only end up saying the first half of every word, but it's very common to omit the last letter of a word or phrase. And this is really something that just kind of happens as you develop some speed. Like if you want to ask somebody, oh really, that would be de verdad. But in spoken Spanish, in like conversational Spanish, you're really just going to end up saying, oh, de verdad? And you kind of leave off that last D. Or another example might be like, you have to do something. Tienes que hacer algo. But you're not going to, it sounds too chopped up if you say it like that. So to make it sound a bit more fluid, it's just, instead of tienes que, it's tiene que hacer algo. Tiene que. I would love to know in the comments below, what is one little tip or tweak somebody can make to sound a bit more native when they're speaking Spanish. And that'll do it for today. Be sure to leave a like on the video, and we'll see you next time. Adios, nos vemos, cuídate.